Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Illuminati. The man who rules the world takes on the head of the global elite in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes Illuminati on Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. There was chaos in a Clark County courtroom when a defendant leapt over the judge's bench to attack her after she refused to give him probation for a felony he was being sentenced for.
Other top story, a Las Vegas judge attacked in her own courtroom is recovering at home tonight. And according to court documents, 30-year-old Deobre Redden slammed Judge Mary Kay Holtis's head into the wall and ripped out chunks of her hair. But that's not all. Our Alyssa Bethencourt breaks down these new details.
Well, so many dramatic moments have happened in this courthouse, but what happened on Wednesday morning might be one of the most shocking as a criminal defendant lunged over a podium and tackled a judge to the ground just as she was about to sentence him.
Stay in the out of this courthouse.
It's the heart-stopping video the whole country is talking about. A defendant leaping and attacking Las Vegas judge Mary Kay Holtis in her own courtroom.
My knowledge, it's the first time it's happened anywhere. I've never seen a video of somebody diving across a court bench like that before.
The man behind the attack is defendant Deobre Redden, who was moments away from being sentenced for attempted battery with substantial bodily harm.
I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history.
Just before he's seen lunging over the judicial bench, Redden and his attorney asked the judge for probation rather than time behind bars. In this clip, he's heard telling her he's getting his life back on track with a new job and plans to resume his education.
I'm not out there committing crimes now, and I feel like I should be given a shot because I'm in a better place than I was.
At a press conference on Thursday afternoon, Chief Judge Jerry Weiss providing an update on the judge's condition and the marshal who stepped in to help her.
I believe that the marshal was right behind the defendant, probably getting ready to put handcuffs on him and remand him, and this individual just, he moved too quick.
According to court documents, Judge Holtis described Redden as being big, strong, and angry. Witnesses saying Redden was on top of the judge and hit her once in the head with a hard, unknown object. Meantime, the marshal seen here trying to mitigate the situation was hospitalized with a gash on his forehead and a dislocated shoulder.
There's plenty of instances where somebody is becomes rowdy in the courtroom, and the marshals generally are able to subdue them.
But after this attack, concerns and questions about safety in the courtroom are front and center. Officials reassuring the public that security is a top priority.
It is a safe place to be, and this is not going to happen again.
Redden will now be facing additional charges of battery and battery on a protected person. As for Judge Holtis, we're told she will be going forward with the hearing on January 8th, and additional safety measures will be in place inside of the courtroom. Reporting in downtown Las Vegas, I'm Alyssa Bethencourt.
And we've learned of additional charges filed against Redden, and those include 6 felonies ranging from coercion and extortion to intimidating a public officer.
Now, in this incident that took place in the Clark County District Courtroom of Judge Mary Kay Holtis, defendant Deobre Redden was in the middle of a sentencing hearing for some felonies that he had pleaded down to a lesser charge. And after pleading down to this lesser charge for a series of felonies, what Deobre Redden was hoping to get was probation for the alleged crimes he pleaded down to, and hoped to gain some sympathy from District Court Judge Mary Kay Holtis by talking about how he was working to get his life in order and how he had went out and got a brand new job and joined the Teamsters Union. Unfortunately, District Court Judge Mary Kay Holtis was not feeling very sympathetic to Deobre Redden, and because she was not feeling sympathetic to this 30-year-old man after a series of felonies that he had already participated in and had been arrested multiple times. What she wanted to do instead of give him probation for this latest crime he had participated in and gotten convicted for as related to pleading down, she was looking to give him prison time. And with her looking to give him prison time, this is where DeObray DeLone Redden exploded in a rage and leapt over the judge's bench to attack her. And after he leapt over the judge's bench to attack her, he had hit her with an object allegedly, and also then was looking to pull out chunks of her hair, and had basically gone on a rampage that it took a court officer and a court stenographer to try to pull him off of Judge Mary Kay Holthus in this disturbing incident that went viral. Now, many in the Clark County criminal justice system possibly see this as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the behaviors that were shown in the viral video that DeObray DeLone Redden participated in, they fit the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. Now, some are speculating that DeObray DeLone Redden had mental health issues, but when I look at the behavior that he participated in, I don't see how mental health plays anything in this situation. No, the real problem I see with DeObray DeLone Redden as related to the behavior he participated in that courtroom has to do with the dysfunctional way that this boy was raised to become a man that basically put him on the road to becoming a man in crisis. And it's clear to me that as this boy was being raised, possibly in a single mother household, he never learned how to respect authority figures, and that was shown by the way he went out and attacked this judge right inside of her courtroom. Because had this boy been raised to understand, to respect authority figures from his mother, he would have understood that he needed to carry and conduct himself in a respectable manner inside of that courtroom. Moreover, if he had a father in his life, he would have understood that a man has to have discipline and resolve in any situation. And sadly, that is something he did not learn after multiple arrests, because, it's clear that this male never learned the basic written and unwritten social rules for being able to carry and conduct himself in a social situation, especially a formal situation like a courtroom sentencing, where you want to leave a strong impression on a judge, which is something that DeObray DeLone Redden never learned how to do as related to his previous sentencings. I mean, in his previous sentencing, here was a guy who didn't really understand that when you stand before a judge, you need to be able to maintain a strong sense of resolve, because if you don't have a strong sense of resolve, what you are sending a message to the judge is that you don't have respect for the law, nor do you have respect for authority. And that was the big problem with DeObray DeLone Redden. He never learned how to respect authority figures because being raised in a single mother household, he was probably coddled by his mother, and also thought he could know how to talk to his mom to manipulate her in order to give her what he wanted. And he was probably used to pulling these finesses for many years and got away with it with judges in previous cases. And as he got away with it with judges in previous cases, he was basically had a sense of entitlement as related to the criminal justice system. And this is where District Court Judge Mary Kay Holthus basically got fed up with DeObray DeLone Redden's behavior, because after assaulting an individual with a baseball bat, I believe in this latest case that got him arrested, this is where the judge basically saw how this man had little regard for the law, had little regard for anybody else, and was all about himself. And this is where she wanted to send a message to DeObray Delone Redden that he was going to finally be punished for his actions. And as he was finally going to be punished for his actions, this is where this beta male went from simmering and boiling in anger as related to this situation to exploding in a rage, where he acted on his impulses to attack this authority figure for having the audacity to go out here and sentence him to prison for the felony he had participated in, because she clearly saw that his behavior was not changing, because with this man basically going out and being arrested for another felony, including prior convictions for 3 felonies and 9 misdemeanors. Basically, this guy was a clear and present danger, and he basically proved the point of the judge before she could sentence him, basically proving her point and the prosecutor's point that this man was a clear and present danger who needed to be locked up before he could harm anybody else, and before he could actually deal with actual punishment for the first time. This is where this beta male went out and exploded in a rage, where he basically showed what many people would call superhuman, or as I call it, super brute abilities, by leaping over this bench, which is about 3 to 4 feet in height, charging at the judge, grabbing her hair, toppling an American flag onto her, and then going to further attack her by trying to rip out her hair and hit her with an object, according to some reports. And this altercation basically was all because this boy was never raised with the proper male life skills or male survival skills to understand how to navigate through his emotions, or understand how to take a punishment when he goes out here and does wrong. What happened here, what this guy, DeObray Delone Redden, is what happens when you have a beta male who is coddled for so long, first by the single mother, and then by the leftist criminal justice system. And when this male basically has to deal with consequences, that's when that male starts to get upset, because that male has never been taught how to deal with consequences as related to his actions, or accountability for his actions. And that's what basically led to this guy exploding in this rage. And as he exploded in this rage, what he did was go from going to possibly be sentenced for the series of felonies that he basically pleaded down to basically getting more charges as related to more serious felonies. And he will be possibly now going to prison for an extended period of time, because attacking members of the court inside of a courtroom basically makes it where you have created an open and shut case for prosecutors, not only for the previous crimes this guy has committed, but for the crime of attacking the court and showing no respect for the court. And when you show no respect for the court, that's when the court is going to throw the book at this individual, because they have no respect for its authority or authority figures. And since this guy basically has shown he has no respect for the authority of the court or the court's officers, what they are going to do with DeObray Delone Redden is basically sentence him to an extended period of time for a timeout inside of the penitentiary of Nevada. And inside of that penitentiary in Nevada, he will learn how to respect the authority of the COs and the social authority of Bubba Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles as they trade him for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light tea, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand lemon cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand ginger snaps, off-brand vanilla wafers, tasty cake cupcakes, Kit Kat candy bars, packets of snack pack pudding, Fritos chips, packets of soy sauce, peppermint balls, and all sorts of things, even boxes of grape juice. That's what they're going to be teaching him about authority and order as Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, and Melvin and Mr. Sprinkles participate in spit roast with this dude, and Mr. Sprinkles sprays the special sauce all over his front and backside. That's what's going to happen, sadly, to DeObray D. Lone Redden, and that's possibly why he just went berserk inside of that courtroom, because he knew what was coming to him. He knew that he was going to be put in this penitentiary for a long time out, and that's why he went out and threw this tantrum, because this male was never taught to be a man and take a punishment. No, what he was done was coddled and spoiled first by mommy, then by the criminal justice system, until he went too far. And the reason why he went too far is because this beta male never understood the concepts that every boy who was raised by a functional mother and father teach them, which is how about boundaries, about respecting other people and respecting the rights of other people. This is what a boy is taught by a caring mother who teaches him about male life skills, male survival skills, and how to navigate a course in life in the world. Unfortunately, this boy, as he grew up to become 30 years old, never learned these things that a man needs to learn, and this is why this male went and created chaos in the courtroom, just like he created chaos in life, showing that he was not ready to be a part of society, because this male never learned what he needed to become a man, and that's why this man in crisis basically went berserk in the courtroom. Now, some people want to say that this guy was mentally ill and had schizophrenia in some reports, but I believe if he did have mental health problems, it basically happened because he was possibly smoking the weed, and as he smoked the weed, this possibly created the chemical imbalance in his brain. That's what usually creates this type of out-of-control behavior, but I don't really believe that story, because if this guy could say he was if the court said he was competent to stand trial, I don't think he had mental health issues, because if he had mental health issues, they would have deemed him mentally incompetent, and they would have put him in a mental health facility. No, what we saw in that courtroom is basically what I call bitch-made behavior, because this male never understood how to navigate life as a man, because the women in his life probably coddled him and spoiled him, gave him everything he wanted, but didn't teach him what he needed to know to be a man, to navigate life in the world, or how to carry and conduct himself as a man. And that's why he created chaos in the courtroom. He created chaos in the courtroom because he didn't have any sort of discipline or self-control. And because he didn't have discipline or self-control, he did not know how to conduct himself in a courtroom and take a punishment, or understand that there are consequences for your actions, and you need to understand that so that you don't wind up in a courtroom having to deal with a sentence as related to a crime. Now, this dude, again, he had 3 felonies and 9 misdemeanors, and he basically thought, oh, I'm going to be able to get out of this once more. Again, just like the spoiled, coddled child, thinking, oh, I've gotten away with this with mommy. But he finally ran into a prosecutor and a judge who were not looking to listen to his stories or give him another probation, because he's already done prison time for domestic violence. He's participated in multiple felonies, and there are only so many chances that any judge, even in a blue state, is going to give an individual. And there's only so many deals people are going to give somebody, especially when you've got a guy who's standing before a judge after initially being charged with a baseball bat with attack on somebody with to hurt them. Again, a man assaulting somebody with a baseball bat, but he's expecting probation after participating in violence for years. And that just shows you the dysfunctional and entitled mindset of this beta male, showing how he has no understanding of accountability because he's been enabled by so many people. And that's the sad part about many of these beta males. A lot of them, they become coddled, spoiled, and get a sense of entitlement, believing that they should just get away with their behavior and never have to deal with any sort of accountability whatsoever. But this guy finally is going to deal with accountability and will now be dealing with serious charges that go beyond the felonies he participated in, because attacking a member of the court and officers of the court, those are heavy felonies. And attacking a judge, I guarantee you, when he gets up in front of the next judge, they are going to look to throw the book at this dude, and he's going to go from being a male who was free to becoming a man in crisis in the penitentiary. Now, if you want to learn how to avoid winding up in a courtroom or winding up getting jammed up in a situation like this, and learn to identify the dysfunctional behaviors and the paradigm of life that will lead to you winding up becoming a man in crisis like this, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Smashworth, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to request a video about men in crisis like this viewer did for this video, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose. The man who rules the world runs into the irresistible force of a man with nothing to lose in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get the regular and variant editions of John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose on Amazon.com today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.